Well, thank you for coming back into the channel, and I hope you enjoy this spiritual content on narcissism from the scriptures and how it plays out. We've struggled to get out of verse 25. We've really struggled to get away from that verse. I don't know why. It's like the Holy Spirit's got us stuck there or something. Just let me sort this out. But we will try and do something about it this time. But I will recapitulate. Despite their desires, the narcissists' immorality will lead them to ruin. They're going to stay in their ruin. I've met women that have got a cupboard, a bed, a microwave, a car, and their habits. That's about it. Their desires. And they don't always fulfill their desires, and sometimes their ruin overtakes them, particularly when they get older. 30, 40, 50, 60. It's pretty well done where their life's going to end up, which is sad. And they just ruin their relationships, they ruin their supplies, they refuse to come to any understanding about themselves which could help them improve. I've brought these women into places where they've had tenfold supply, all that they could ever need, and still were unable to find their way out of their ruinous thinking, their lazy morality, their lazy integrity. They stayed in their habits and addictions, some religious, some devil's lettuce, others alcohol. There's all different ways in which they destroy themselves progressively because they stray from common sense towards themselves. They don't understand themselves enough to be able to stay out of ruin. They're too lazy to face themselves. And this is where they end up. But we've got to move on from that verse because I'll lose this session. Despite their desires, the narcissist will bring everyone to ruin. If you let them, they'll bring you to ruin because they're too lazy to do the psychological and personal introspection work on themselves. They're just too lazy. They're not going to do it because of they look outwardly and think they're more grandiose than everybody else. They think they're more intelligent than everybody else. They're self-deceived because there's no boundaries around their ignorance and arrogance. They're just left at the mercy of their mentality and desires. And it all leads in the cycle, the narcissistic cycle, to ruin. And they don't want to learn. They don't want to grow. See how hard it is to get out of this verse? There's just so much in it. It's the full narcissistic cycle. Desire, love bomb, bang, 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 all the way down to ruin. They end up in ruin. That's just how it works. It's just a universal law. It's the way God made it. Verse 26. Oh, that should be Proverbs, shouldn't it? Proverbs 21. Yeah. Okay. Verse 26. Some people are always greedy for more, but the godly love to give. Now, I've seen several of these covert narcissistic women. A couple of them have come to me I didn't know at the time, just through dating and that. And some I knew in the past, where they've just come and haven't let me know that they've got resentment towards their boyfriend, so they're jumping into bed with somebody else. And then off they go again. They feel like they've given their boyfriend a payback, and then away they go again. And you're standing there going, what just happened then? This happens all the time. They don't know how to resolve. If you're with somebody that doesn't know how to resolve, I can guarantee you, it's only a matter of time before they're in bed with somebody else. They'll still keep you as supply, but you're getting paid back behind your back. Whether you want to accept that or not, that's what they do. People that can't resolve, that's your first sign of danger, unresolved. They will end up in bed with somebody else. because that's how they pay you back, for forcing them to grow. They don't want to grow. Growth, that's not part of the plan. That's not part of their desire. Their desires lead to ruin, not to growth. And some people are always greedy for more. Greedy for more what? Greedy for more of their supply. They want multiple forms of supply. The narcissist wants multiple forms of supply. Their unresolved, their lack of ability to bring peace, their selfishness, their conceitedness, their resentments and bitternesses, and all the stuff from the past, and the ways in which they've formed themselves characteristically, and the sinful nature and the way in which works. It's all spiritually, a lot of it's all spiritually formed inside them by spirits and the darkness and Satan's cronies. They spiritually program them to be this way. If then these people aren't getting their way, they just go to somebody else. If they are being exposed, right, and it's time for them to try and reform and fix things, and their partner's gotten to the point where, hey, look, I'm just tired of this, they wear people out, they just go on to the next person. They just find somebody else. They don't stop and go, I've got to review what I'm doing with my life. No. They just, as I said in one of the videos earlier, I've had girlfriends that have been on the internet within that afternoon looking for some other bloke. Not of any worry to me, but it shows you think you know people. When you see signs of unresolved, don't kid yourself. Unresolved is the first sign that there's an affair coming. It's coming, it's just a matter of time. Because these people don't just take themselves out, they take everybody out with them in their path. And you'll see them with new supply, and at all you're thinking, well, how come it's not working out that good? You were the new supply. Where are you now? Right? It's all the same. It just goes round in a cycle, which leads to ruin. Not just their ruin, but your ruin as well. Why? Because they're greedy, but they're greedy in the wrong direction. Greedy doesn't speak of laziness. Greedy speaks of activity, but activity towards things that harm. Right? Greedy speaks of motion and action, but it's a motion and an action that's built out of the wrong means, which is going to eventuate in ruin. I've met women, look, let me just be straight and flat here. I've met girls, we used to swim at the pool at Gosford. Me and my mates, and we'd meet girls at the pool and we'd be having sex with them that afternoon. I've met 30, 40, 50-year-old women that I've met, right? And I say this very cautiously and with sensitivity and stuff. I'm just showing you female nature. That have been in the bedroom within 30 minutes. You go down to have an ice cream at the waterfront, forget the ice cream, the next thing you're back at their place. No. That's why I won't go on the dating sites anymore. There's no grandiosity in that. There's no benefit in that at all. All of it leads to ruin. I've had a few girlfriends where I've cared and nurtured for them, never missed a beat. And they couldn't even bring the most simplest forms of resolve. Because they're too greedy. They want to triangulate. They don't want to resolve. They're frightened that the people that their family members and things that they're triangulated with, that if they confront the issue and get things in order, they're going to lose. Lose is in opposition to greed. Greed wants to accumulate. Sometimes when you resolve, you have to be prepared to temporarily lose some things to gain. Sometimes you've got to lose to gain. Jesus said whoever loves his life will lose it. whoever wants to keep his life will save it. Sometimes you have to be prepared to lose, tell the truth, and be prepared to lose. That's how you see if that person loves you or not. So that you can get back on the right path and start winning again. I've had partners that have fixed things for the first 6 months and then gone in the complete opposite direction in the next 6 months. And when I say in the opposite direction, I mean they were reaching out and having emotional affairs and physical affairs. All based on their dysfunction, all based on their desires. And despite the fact that it was not only going to lead them to ruin, but it was an attempt to ruin everything else around them. I've watched them ruin their children, their lives. They've attempted to... Thank God that he called me 30 years ago and said, look, mate, this is how evil works and this is what you need to learn. And I come to Christ and I've ended up here. Greed. You could be being used as a sexual form of supply, and then the person, they could have a person out there somewhere that's giving them drugs for sex, or they get on the drugs together and have sex, and then they come back to you for stability and your sex, your form of sex. I mean, it is all over the place. They're just greedy. They're greedy. They've got no idea of themselves. They're not doing the work for themselves. They're just following blindly their desires. Old men sleeping with young women and old women sleeping with young men. You can do all that on the dating sites. Nobody cares. It's all over the place. And it takes work to stay on the right path. See, the godly want to give. The godly want to build a relationship. You're giving into the relationship to make something out of it that's going to last. Right? But these people here, they have no sense of that. They're all looking around everywhere else. That's how it works. Their eyes are everywhere, hunting and searching. There's no rest. Right? And if you're a primary source of the supply, sometimes you can just be their parent. They're just coming to you to get the security and the stability and the serenity, and then go back out there and destroy themselves behind your back. Seen it all. I've seen all this. I was just a parent, and that suited their daddy issues as well. And then they'd be the little rebel and go out behind your back and wreck everything. And men do this to women as well. You're just their mummy for their mummy issues. And then they go out and be naughty to mummy by sleeping with other people and things like this. It's wicked. It's horrible. And it happens all the time. It all, just before I go, it all comes to ruin. It all of it comes to ruin. But if you're genuinely trying to build a relationship, you're going to be okay. You really are going to be. It's going to be okay. It might not seem that way right now. You've been ransacked. But it's all going to be okay. Okay, just do the work. Let time bring healing to you. Be aware of what I'm teaching and others are teaching. There's a lot of information now right across YouTube on narcissism and being used as supply. You're going to be all right. Give and it will be given to you. Take and it will be taken from you. I'm Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Gosford, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you for joining me, and bye for now.